You said WatchMojo? Oh, we haven't watched WatchMojo in eons. Bro, is that Star Fox Assault, my guy?
Welcome to Mojo Plays, and today we're taking a look at 10 video game franchises that made the unfortunate mistake of changing genres. Sometimes it works for the best, but in these instances, why couldn't we stick to what we do best, guys? Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to Mojo Plays and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. The Assassin's Creed series. Once upon a time, the Assassin's Creed games were something to look forward to, with their unique approaches to open-world design and stealth-based gameplay. Unfortunately, the series wound up losing some people after Origins made its debut in 2016. From there on, Assassin's Creed became less focused on stealthy takedowns and clever infiltration, and more on, do what you want. There are so many ways to accomplish your mission.
I don't know.
By the way, have you looked at our skill trees?
Yo,
you can get
look
a
at that
2%
shit.
damage increase with your bow and arrow.
This chain is huge and poorly anchored, it appears.
And no joke, when it comes to Assassin's Creed, bro.
So Assassin's Creed
Assassin's
is now
Creed
a shell
2
of its
was my
former
shit.
self, and it's plagued with some of the most obnoxious action RPG mechanics imaginable.
But Assassin's Creed 2
The Plants vs. Zombies
was fire,
series.
and the one for the PSP was fire. There was no, not PSP. There was one for the PS Vita, and I think it had to do with
Now,
a black
Plants
girl.
vs. Zombies will
That one
always
was
be
tough.
a tower defense game, but for well over a decade, it seemed as if the franchise was being led down a more sinister direction. Throughout the 2010s, the Garden Warfare
Plants vs.
spin-offs
Zombie always
began to
annoyed
take
me.
hold of the IP's
This game looked
identity
fun.
as the only two mainline games faded into obscurity. Granted, all three Garden Warfare games did incorporate some tower defense into them by giving plants and zombies the ability to place down plants or zombots at specific
You said
locations.
I tried to get you guys on it ages ago.
Battle for Neighborville left a bad taste in the mouths of PvZ fans, with its grindy nature, unbalanced gameplay, and reliance on microtransactions.
Aww. Bro, what is this? This is
The Command
chaotic.
and Conquer
You
series.
saw the zombies with the pompadours?
ready. Be ready.
Command and Conquer used to be among the most respectable series in the RTS genre. If you weren't diving into the fantastical world of Age of Mythology or the more grounded Age of Empires, you were likely gelling more with Command and Conquer. Alas, EA can never seem to leave a good thing alone, as they forced the franchise to take a different direction, albeit briefly. EA saw the success of the FPS market
I've never
and thought
played
that
games
for
like
some
this.
reason, CNC
My ass
needed
is
a
not
slice
playing
of
a
that
RTS
pie,
game.
too. So developer
That's what I'm saying. I don't think I've ever played a game like
to
that.
supposedly expand the lore, and that's why we got Command and Conquer Renegade.
So these games could be fun.
While CNC did not become a shooter moving forward, mechanics integral to strategy games, such as
Pikmin is
resource
technically an
management,
RTS
began
game?
to get
Oh,
dumbed down or
shit, well,
straight up
that's
removed
my
in later
first
installments. And no,
RTS
this would
game
not
I've
be
ever
the
played
last
then.
time EA meddled with its developers' projects.
I would love XCOM.
Central Command.
The Dragon Age series.
But now it seems they arrive in
The
hordes.
Dragon Age.
Impressive.
I never played Dragon Age either.
Into a dragon.
See, we're 3 for 3 with EA, and their meddling with Dragon Age was arguably the worst of it. Dragon Age Origins started the franchise out with all the fixings you would expect from a fantasy RPG. Oh, but that didn't do as well as Mass Effect, so we need it to be more heavy on the combat. Oh, so Dragon Age 2 didn't work out either. Okay then, Inquisition needs to have a massive open world since that's the new thing now. All the games are doing it. Huh. That didn't do much better either, huh? Alright, well 10 years after Inquisition, how do you suppose Dragon Age the Veilguard did?
People are dying right now. You need to listen.
Would you believe this single-player action RPG with God of War-esque combat was initially being made as a live service game? The only reason it didn't go that direction is because Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order did so well. Can't ever seem to make a decision when it comes to EA.
Damn.
The Crash Bandicoot series.
Yo, Crash. Yo, my depth
For a good
perception
chunk
in
of
those
his life,
games
Crash
suck
Bandicoot
ass.
managed to stay the course of being a platformer and a platformer only, whether that was in a 2.5D space or a full 3D space. That streak went on from 1996 until 2007, right before Activision's acquisition of the IP and its owner, Vivendi Games. Crash of the Titans made platforming take a back seat in favor of more combat
You
scenarios
said Crash
where Crash
had a
could
good
control
comeback
vicious
high key?
beasts.
That he did. He had a good revival. Much better than Spyro.
Yeah,
Much better
this
than
was
Spyro,
nothing
at
like the
least. I
games
think
we had all
Spyro,
grown
they
up
brought
with,
back the
and
trilogy
many fans
only.
were flabbergasted at this bizarre direction. Nevertheless, Radical Entertainment and Activision pushed forward with a sequel, though Crash Mind Over Mutant practically nailed the coffin shut until Insane Trilogy came in and revitalized everything.
Damn.
Little sleepy now.
The Spyro the Dragon series.
Man, this game was such a collectathon. Oh my god.
Whereas Crash got to stay in his lane and enjoy himself for the majority of his life, Spyro was taken in all sorts of new directions, albeit more appropriate ones. We went from 3D platformers to 2.5D platforming to full-on epic action-adventure games. Then, the franchise sort of went dark after The
You
Legend
said
of
I
Spyro
love that shit,
Dawn
bro.
of the
I
Dragon.
hated it. I hated
Cinder,
that you had to collect
What happened?
everything.
where are we?
I don't know. It's all a blur.
Yeah, me too. My head's pounding.
So, how did we end up with a Toys to Life game like Skylanders Spyro's Adventure? Well, turns out Toys for Bob was given the option to revive any old Vivendi IP they wanted, and they wanted to work on a Spyro game, and they eventually landed on the Toys to Life concept, surrounding the dragon with characters that had absolutely no relevance to any of the previous games. At least the Skylanders games were okay in quality for the most part, even if Spyro looked like an angry little pug demon.
He does. Because his nose is like super pushed in.
The Dead or Alive series.
You said what you hate more, Crash or Spyro? It's probably Spyro.
Full admittance, Dead or Alive never
But it's
truly
like a
changed
love-hate.
genres. All 6 of the main games are 3D fighters with great controls.
I hate it, but I
awesome
love it,
level
but I also
design,
hate it.
And tough as hell fights. Sure, there were only a couple of the volleyball games, but that's where the franchise has gone wrong in recent years.
Yo, there's no way. When I was younger, I could not buy these games. I cannot walk
Look,
into my
if
shop
Dead or
and
Alive
cop
wants
this
to cater
shit
to the
because
more
I'd be like, bro, I
intimate
know
and
I'm gonna goon to
frustrated,
this.
It's whatever. Make all the extreme beach volleyball and Venus
I know I'm
Vacation
gonna goon
spin-offs
to
you
this
want.
game. That's
But
why I
when
didn't
it's
buy
been
this shit.
Several years,
Bro, this
since
game is
Dead or
too
Alive
sexy.
6 and several more since Dead or Alive 5. Well, it doesn't seem like Dead or Alive is a fighting game franchise anymore. Especially when you notice that there are way more volleyball and dating sim spin-offs than there are mainline games. So what even is this franchise anymore, man?
It's about the waifus. Damn.
The Jack and Daxter series.
You finally took a much-needed bath, but in a bathtub filled with
It's funny hearing people reminisce about Jack and Daxter because most of the time, they're nostalgic for the first game. Rarely do you ever hear anybody rave about Jak 2, let alone Jak 3 or The Lost Frontier. The reason?
Yo.
Well, the second game took the series in a gritty direction and mixed in shooter gameplay with platforming. Not a bad move, that is, if your aiming controls worked half the time.
Yeah.
The franchise didn't get any better in Jak 3, and when Lost Frontier dropped on PSP, it was all over. Folks weren't wanting this anymore. They were wanting the fantasy 3D platformer that they played.
Wait a minute.
way back in 2000.
So you telling me this series is ass? So you telling me all this time, y'all telling me to dig in my wallet and play some mid? Bro, y'all been on my dick about, oh, you gotta play this game. And now this bro is over here saying, oh, this shit ass. Like the fans stopped fucking with it since 2 because it started shooting. 3 wasn't any better, and then 4 was the nail in the coffin. What? So you listening to WatchMojo?
Jack 3, and when Lost Frontier dropped on PSP, it was all over.
I
Folks
don't know.
weren't wanting this anymore. They were wanting the fantasy 3D platformer that they played way back in 2002. And that's why you don't have any more Jack and Daxter games.
Shut your bitch ass up. The guy saying this is an actual dumbass. We fans love all 3 mainline aside from the
We
PSP
fans
game.
love all
No
3
one asked
main
for
lines
it.
aside from the PSP game no one asked for.
Britsky.
If you want a nostalgic IP that seems
Take it
to
for the
always
biddies, baby.
change its face every new game, Star Fox was going through the most extreme
Star
case
Fox,
of identity
bro.
crisis. So Star Fox and Star Fox 64 were both on rails.
Star Fox 64, hot take, shit was ass. I don't care, bro. The only reason why I got into Star Fox high key is because Smash Bros. Melee, and then when I played Star Fox Adventures for the first time. Then Star Fox Assault. Oh my god, look how many people in the chat. Shut your bitch ass up. The guy saying this is an actual dumb fuck. We fans loved all the 3 mainline games. Oh my god, copy pasta of death.
Shooters, and we all know and love how those games play. But then, Miyamoto saw Rare working on an adventure game called Dinosaur Planet, and for some reason told them to use Star Fox characters instead.
Yes. Yo, nah. Look at these combos, bro. Look at the combat in this game. Fox was spin, spin, smack. Bro, the combat was tough in this game. Look at this. Boom. Bro, nah, bro, nah. That game was fire.
Back in the right direction, but not before Namco went and made a third-person shooter called Star Fox Assault.
This game was
said
tough.
Star Fox 64 3D. This is what the franchise is: linear, on-rails shooting in space. Remember? Oh yeah, that's right, replied Nintendo, as they shoved a cinematic camera into Star Fox Zero.
Yo.
And that's how the franchise never caught on.
Yeah, Star Fox Zero, what happened? Yo, bro, this game, the amount of promotion, Nintendo was promoting this game so much too, bro. Remember the promo for this game? Like, they all had, like, puppets and shit. Yo, I could have sworn they even had the puppets. Like, you know, when Nintendo makes puppets, them motherfuckers is big investing in that bitch. Yo.
And lastly, Fortnite.
Yo, that Fortnite skin crazy. Look at them yams. Shit.
Of any video game ever made, none have gone through such a drastic change.
It was 69
as
on
Fortnite.
Metacritic.
Hey everyone.
Nice.
You remember when it was supposed to be this forgettable third-person shooter with tower defense mechanics? Yeah. But then they went and put in that Battle Royale mode that caught everybody's attention. And admittedly, it is still pretty good. Well, now, it's barely either of those things. Fortnite has now become what we'll call the executive's favorite video game. It's a game that is literally everything and anything, as it relies on external licenses of IPs and game modes made by the player base itself instead of the developers. The Battle Royale aspect is still massively
It's kind of like,
popular, yes,
it's kind of
and
like,
the original game has its own
Fort
group of
Box,
fans.
yes.
But
It's
when
like
you log
Roblox.
in and you see some of this really weird AI-generated game mode thrown in your face, what even is this, man? Fortnite's become completely unrecognizable.
I can't lie though, this race world looked cool as hell.
Which gaming franchise do you think has changed for the worse? Did it make our list? Let us.
Fort Box. W Fort Box, chat. W Fort Box. W Fort Box. I have another WatchMojo vid, but it's 22 minutes long. If you don't want to watch it, I understand. But what is it though? WatchMojo been going crazy. What the hell? They're going live? 10 upcoming games that are already doomed. Already doomed?
Oh, we're finally doing this, are we? Because I was
Fable?
sandwich. Okay. Let's do it.
Welcome to Mojo Plays, and today we're taking a look at 10 upcoming games that may already be doomed to fail. Trust us, we would love for every video game to be good.
They said trust
but
us.
These ones are showing some major
He said
red
these
flags.
ones.
This is your legacy.
Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long.
A literal
So be sure to
doom
subscribe to
video.
Mojo
It's a
Plays
doomer
and ring
video.
the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Gothic Remake.
What's your
Gothic.
story? Why'd they throw you in? Look, usually I'm the guy who gives the Greenbloods the rundown. But a rock slide cut us off from the valley, so I have other things on my mind right now.
It's always cool to see old and obscure IPs get resurrected with remakes to reintroduce themselves to new audiences. But in the case of Gothic, things are looking really rough. For starters, this
All
game
these
has
WatchMojo
seen
videos
way
are
more
giving
cinematic
Rios
trailers
more
than
content on the
gameplay
channel.
throughout its entire
Oh
marketing
shit.
cycle. It's
Rios.
already cause for concern. But when we tried out the demo for ourselves, it became a lot harder to have faith in this
More
product.
slop.
Granted, this was just a demo. We get that. The thing is that it was so boring and dragged on for so long with not a lot to do. If the final game is going to wind up as slow-paced as the demo, a lot of players are going to dip. Be prepared for a vocal minority to start claiming, it gets good after 14 hours. Bruh, no.
Gets good after 14 hours.
The formation of the barrier went out of control. I know the other mages haven't, but I'm
You say
not
games that shouldn't have
like
been
the other
canceled? I'll
mages.
search for it.
Terrifier, the arcade game.
This game looked like some YouTuber game.
In the modern age of gaming, it's almost no surprise to see a horror movie or TV series suddenly get a video game adaptation. For Terrifier, it was a welcoming announcement considering how great the second and third movies were. But in came the question, what does Terrifier even look like as a video game? Well, we got our answer, and it's not looking good. After playing the demo that is currently available on Steam, we're feeling like Terrifier the arcade game is gonna wind up being the most uninspired beat-em-up since Double Dragon 4 back in 2017. Nothing here feels satisfying to do. The sound design is pitiful, Viscera is lacking, which is weird to say considering how graphic.
It looks like slop. It looks like somebody went into like a beat 'em up editor, and then they just put the character in and say, yo, just publish this shit the way that it is. Fuck it. This shit is ass. Like, this literally a Scott... Oh, it's a Scott Pilgrim ripoff? Shit. Cash grab game? Damn.
Terrifier is, and the combat is more bare bones than Art's Victims. With the release date just around the corner from the time we record this video, we have to ask what went wrong here.
Yeah, that shit look like ass.
Code Violet.
Code Violet. Uh-oh.
If you were hoping for one last original horror game to appear before the end of 2025, Code Violet is that last outing for you. Unfortunately, it's not shaping up to be a good PS5 exclusive outing. Tell us, how do you list a game's release date and not include any screenshots or videos? There is gameplay to watch on the official PlayStation YouTube channel. Alas, it's not doing the game any favors. The demo shown was mostly just going into empty rooms, picking up items,
Don't
and
buy
moving
this
some
game.
objects here and there. For what little combat was shown, it's just your run-of-the-mill survival
Yeah,
horror
do not
game.
buy this
The only
game.
thing different between Code
Damn,
Violet
but them
and the big hitter
but them character model, look at them yams though.
run-of-the-mill survival horror
Oh
game.
my
The only thing
god.
different between
God, look, chat. Hold on, bro. Hold on. Oh my god.
Code Violet and
bro.
the big hitters is that Code Violet just seems to be doing the bare
Character
minimum
model
here.
is
We just hope that we're
clean.
wrong when the game drops on December 12th.
Double cheeked up character model. Wait a minute, you're in the future getting attacked by a A dinosaur?
Paranormal Activity, found footage.
Hell no.
Carbon monoxide. Or some kind
I
of...
would never play a paranormal activity
Yeah,
game,
but-
bro.
I mean, you'd be feeling like this too.
For those unaware of their existence, Dread XP is a games publisher that has helped put out some amazing horror titles, specifically ones that exude the vibes of retro horror games. Well, in February 2024, Dread XP put out a teaser for their next biggest game, a game set in the Paranormal Activity franchise. Look,
Neo,
Dread
you killing
XP
me.
has some remarkable games in its portfolio, between White Knuckle, Amanda the Adventurer, and My Friendly Neighborhood.
He says a lot of adult humor in it. I think Dragon 2, 3, like PG-13, GTA.
Is begging for a video game based on found footage style horror movies that don't get scary until the final 5 minutes. It's an even
You
more
said brother's not
confusing
believing
venture
you?
to
No, I'll
invest in
believe him.
when Paranormal Activity started floundering the second that we saw the second movie. We just pray Dread XP has something really unique here. They usually do, but this is a licensed game to really worry about. Fable.
The world
Fable.
is filled with stories
Who knows anymore?
of legendary heroes and treacherous villains.
Much like Dread XP, we have nothing against Playground Games. You want a good racing game? The Forza Horizon series are some of the best racing games you could ever play. They know their stuff. But when it comes to making a fantasy RPG, like say a reboot of Fable, well, we got questions for project management because this is such a mismatch between developer and IP. Even if you ignore that aspect, you cannot
Fable's
negate
going
the
to
insane
surprise
amount of
everyone,
time
you
that
guys.
Playground Games has been working on this.
When was this trailer
Fable's
shown?
reboot
Hasn't it been
leaked
years?
Way back in 2018.
2018?
Before it got an official teaser in 2020. It has been in development for years and years.
Oh my
and years.
God.
It doesn't help that some reports have suggested periods where development faced severe troubles behind closed doors. Do we even need to mention Xbox's awful streak of new releases over the last 5 years? It's bad, man. And as a Fable fan, I'm worried about this.
I'm going to fix it. This place. And no one is going to stand
Oh,
in my
that's the
way.
girl that was on
Prince
Twitter.
of Persia: The Sands of Time remake. This could have been such an easy win for Ubisoft. A remake of the best Prince of Persia game ever made, the one that helped birth Assassin's Creed. Slam dunk. At least that's what we thought until we saw the game. Fans made sure Ubisoft knew they were vehemently pissed about the horrendous visuals, so much so that it actually prompted the company to delay the game. But when that new release window was approaching, Ubisoft began refunding people for their pre-orders with no new release window given. Ubisoft swears development is going great, but here's the problem. Since all of this went down in 2020, 2021, Sony has figured out PS2 emulation for PS4 and PS5, while Nintendo has begun putting out GameCube titles on the Switch too.
Oh, my bad,
So, at what point do you just cut your losses and re-release the original game? That
They ain't
really
never gonna
might
do
be
that
your
shit.
best direction, honestly.
I brought this on us.
You are brave. And good.
Don't let go!
Vaco Lucian.
Spellcasters Chronicles.
Where past, present, and future entwine. Where the gods
Spellcaster
once
Chronicles?
shaped the fate of man and empires.
In case you've never heard of this title, this is the newest online PvP game coming to you from the minds behind Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain, and Beyond Two Souls. Care to guess what our issue is with this? Yes, Quantic Dream, the studio known for making interactive movies, is entering the live service space with their own competitive third-person shooter. Look, we're all for studios trying new things, but Quantic Dream is in such a weird
3v3.
position that it makes this pivot seem really strange. In the 7 years since Detroit Become Human, the studio has been toiling away on their own Star Wars game, which we have only seen a teaser of. So is Spellcasters Chronicles a simple distraction, or a desperate attempt to bring in more revenue? Whichever way you see it, something feels very off here.
It looks cool, but everyone says it's gonna flop.
Dissidia Dual M Final Fantasy.
Yo, Final Fantasy art always hits.
Good news, news, everyone! Dissidia Final Fantasy is coming back! Bad news, though. It's a mobile game. And yes, the news gets worse. It's a mobile game that is going to reuse the 3v3 format of Dissidia Final Fantasy NT. For those unaware, NT was released in 2016 and failed to meet the expectations of OG fans. On top of the messy UI and microtransactions, NT was oversimplified in its controls and mechanics, a drastic departure from the complexities of previous games and how each character functioned. It wound up making NT insanely boring to play.
Wow.
And with Dualum reusing the formula, we have a feeling Square Enix is just going to make the same mistakes it made way back then.
That sucks.
Halloween.
A quiet town.
That sucks.
Just
I know a lot of people are going to be like, damn, I wanted this shit.
Towns all across America. A town just like yours.
We're trying so hard not to be down on all these multiplayer titles, but there are so many developers that are setting themselves up for failure. Ilphonic and Gun Media are next, as they're struggling to make a dent in asymmetrical multiplayer horror. Ever since Friday the 13th, the game had its plug pulled, both companies have struggled to capture lightning in a bottle again with flops like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Predator Hunting Grounds, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Dylan Knight has the
and
next
Ghostbusters
video.
Spirits Unleashed.
What is it?
All of these games went through 12 to 18 months of post-launch support, which you could almost barely call that at the bare minimum level, before being completely abandoned by both the publisher, developer, and the player base.
What?
The frustration has grown amongst the community to the point where many are just flocking to Dead by Daylight now. And from what we've seen of Halloween, we can already tell the balance is going to be absolutely abysmal. Don't be surprised when bully squads begin popping up 2 days after launch.
So why he looks so skinny, he does.
Game of Thrones, War for Westeros.
Game of Thrones, War of Westeros. Alright, let's see what this is. War of Westeros. Damn, bro. 20 minutes? Alright.
Welcome to Mojo Plays. And it's becoming increasingly clear that publishers either don't know what gamers really want or are purposely ignoring them.
Oh, don't show me that dumbass hallway. I know that dumbass hallway by heart. I know that dumbass hallway by heart.
Catch a deep breath. It'll be the last fresh air you'll get for a while.
Fresh air is overrated.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Super Mario Spikers.
Oh, this game looks tough. Ooh.
Mario and friends have dabbled in nearly every sport under the sun, even competed in the Olympics a few times.
Is that a Moogle?
But there is one sport that has been almost completely overlooked by the mustachioed plumber: volleyball. While volleyball does appear in Mario Sports Mix, there were originally plans for a Mario Striker-style game utilizing the beach favorite pastime. The pitch was originally greenlit by Nintendo, but after demoing the game, decided to cancel the project.
Why?
Their reasoning was the game was deemed too violent, as it featured WWE-style finishing moves that had characters routinely beating down or even stomping on rival players.
Nintendo, y'all bunch
While this
of...
likely could have easily been toned down.
Nintendo, y'all bunch of... Nintendo, y'all bunch of... Oh, I don't want to see Princess Peach getting 1-2 skip to Malou. You don't want to see Luigi get beat up. You don't want to see Donkey Kong get beat up. Come on, bruh.
Nintendo overreacted and canceled the game outright instead.
Damn.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Armada of the Damned.
Captain Sterling, you see. I knows him. Served under him through. Was a gunner on the Nemesis. Got your attention now, eh?
Nope.
Pirates of the Caribbean became a runaway success at the box office for Disney, so naturally a video game adaptation wasn't far behind. With no sign of Jack Sparrow on the horizon, players would have been given a ship and a crew and an open world in which they could explore both land and sea, filled with supernatural elements and even full-scale naval battles. The scope of the project was ambitious and borrowed heavily from the Assassin's Creed series, who would ironically take to the seas a few years later after Armada of the Damned's cancellation. Players were even given the choice of what type of pirate they wanted to be through their choices, honorable or feared. Disney ended up
I don't even know what the
canceling
fuck was
game
going
during
on
some
there.
Restructuring, and would-be pirates would have to wait for Black Flag to properly take
I saw
the
some
sea.
fuzzy content.
What in the bloody hell are you? You have come to punish us.
American McGee's Alice Asylum. American
Alice
McGee's
Asylum.
Alice series has always been something of a cult favorite. But despite the creator's best efforts, his planned trilogy is likely never going to see its conclusion. After putting together a detailed proposal and pitch, complete with artwork, storyboards, concepts, and a
Wow,
full
the
script,
concept art looks
EA
amazing.
passed on the planned third game, claiming a bunch of corporate jargon that essentially the game wouldn't be profitable for them to invest in, while also refusing to even sell the license back to American McGee, claiming that Alice is still a valued property in their portfolio. Asylum was planned to answer many of the burning questions left open by the previous entries, while also tying up the numerous plot threads.
Bro,
left
is this like the whole game to the detail that he wants to make and they told him no? This is like everything he wants to do with the game?
By the end of Madness Returns. But EA is gonna EA and refuses to give in to fan outcry for a finale to the cult series. Mega Man Universe.
That's terrible, bro. And you already know the publisher won't sell it back
these days, but back during the initial days of Little Big Planet
because they don't want to
Maker,
give that
which still only
give the person
started
the
out,
opportunity
another
to be
beloved
successful.
franchise almost had his chance as well. Mega Man Universe would have allowed players to design their own levels, bosses, and power-ups based around Mega Man assets, edit existing levels, and share them online for other creators to play. Basically, it was Mega Man Maker. However,
Mega Man Maker
Universe took things a step further and allowed players to completely customize not only their levels, but also the Blue Bomber himself.
That's cool.
Players would have been able to swap parts and interchangeable chips to give Mega Man different powers. There was also DLC planned with other Capcom properties such as Street Fighter and Ghosts and Goblins. But after the departure of Kenji Inafune from Capcom, the game was ultimately cancelled due to various circumstances.
Damn.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Patriots.
Ropes are set. On your lead. Hostiles ahead. Take them out. Engage.
The Rainbow Six series hasn't seen a new single-player entry since Rainbow Six Vegas 2 in 2008. However, players got a glimpse of what the next entry in the tactical shooter series could have been, and it showed quite a lot of promise. The title would have seen players encountering a populist militia group known as
They want it to
the
be
True
Super Mario
Patriots
Maker so
and
bad.
confronting them through the streets of New York as the group waged war on Wall Street. The story would have given players a more emotionally charged narrative than previous entries, and the moral choices associated with the tactics used to put an end to the group. The gameplay footage looks solid and reminiscent of the Series 24 with its politically charged narrative and blistering intensity. The game was ultimately cancelled after most of the creative team was let go, and given Siege's success, we'll likely never get another single-player Rainbow Six game again.
Damn.
We're out of time. I'm sorry. Over here now. No, don't do this. No, what did you do?
Aliens Crucible. Alien games typically fall into a few select categories: shooter, horror, or strategy. But Obsidian almost let players explore the Alien universe in a new way with a wholly unique approach: a player choice driven RPG.
Bro, you
Taking
get
heavy
chased by the
inspiration from
aliens?
Mass
I would
Effect
never
series,
want to play
players
that.
and their squad would be forced to survive a xenomorph infestation in their space colony.
I would
Each
never
squad
want to play
member
that
would have
shit.
their own strengths and weaknesses, as well as specific skills and attributes that would make them invaluable in operating and escaping the facility. The most interesting aspect of the game
Said
would
play
have come
Isolation,
from the
bro.
moral choices
I'm
involved should
specifically
someone
not
become
playing
infected by a
Isolation because I'm
space
scared of this
and they
motherfucker.
need to decide their fate.
Look at
The
him.
game was ultimately cancelled despite being nearly complete in favor of Alien Isolation, so it's not all bad, but it certainly would have been one of the most intriguingly unique approaches to the Alien universe.
I'll be
Third,
alright.
Adam Jensen, Deus Ex.
Not gonna go
Y'all
want
want to see me
on this
suffer.
now, Hansa.
Y'all want to see me suffer.
What if I do, McCready? I guarantee you'll never see it coming.
The original Deus Ex game is
I
one of the
heard
most
these
influential
games were
titles of
tough.
all time, and while that was always going to be difficult to compete with, Eidos Montreal crafted two solid adventures for newcomer Adam Jensen.
Alice Madness Returns is one of the best game I played back on the PS3, and even replaying back on PS4 it still held up. EA robbed us of one best stories based on Alice, and it fucking sucks that American McGee has lost all interest in the game. I highly recommend you all to play Madness Returns, it's such a gem.
So what you're saying is, American McGee, we gotta go find him. That's what you're saying.
Titles were
I'll
marred
check
by
it out.
controversy, particularly the
Alice
most recent
Madness
entry, Mankind Divided,
returns.
which publisher
Is
Square
it on the
Enix
Steam Deck?
notoriously interfered with. However, even with all the behind-the-scenes turmoil, fans were still anxiously awaiting the final entry in Jensen's story, only for Square Enix to sell the Deus Ex IP to Embracer, who almost immediately cancelled any potential conclusion. Story details were at least revealed by series writer Mark Cersei, in which Jensen's destiny was never to put an end to the Illuminati, but to cause the events of the original Deus Ex. Such a shame fans will never get to experience these events firsthand.
Agent Jensen! Am I gonna have a problem with you?
No, sir. No reason to assume you would.
Project Sabbath. The rather decisive ending of Rocksteady's Batman Arkham Knight, in which Bruce initiates the Nightfall Protocol after his identity is revealed, was a satisfying conclusion to the series while also leaving the potential for a continuation. While Rocksteady moved on to Suicide Squad, WB Montreal, the developers of the criminally underrated Batman Arkham Origins, started on what
I found
could
it in
have
the
been
store.
the perfect follow-up to the Arkham trilogy. Fast forwarding years later, and Damian Wayne has taken up the mantle of Batman in a Gotham heavily influenced by the Batman Beyond run of the Caped Crusader.
Whoa.
Familiar villains would have
Did
returned,
bro just say a bunch of
including a resurrected
spoilers?
Poison Ivy, alongside villains new to the franchise. Project Sabbath would have also utilized the Nemesis system while giving players a futuristic, neon-soaked Gotham overrun by criminals to explore. The title was unfortunately cancelled, and we got Gotham Knights instead. What did we do to deserve this? Star Wars 1313.
Damn.
I'm starting to think you brought me along just to do your dirty work.
This one still stings, especially given the current state of Star Wars under Disney. In development prior to Disney's acquisition of the license, Star Wars 1313 would have given us the origin story of the most famous bounty hunter in the galaxy, Boba Fett,
Really?
as he made a name for himself deep in the undercity of Coruscant on level 1313. Players would have had access to the myriad of bounty hunting gadgets familiar to the trade, and pursued numerous bounties throughout the lower levels, slowly building Boba's reputation amongst the criminal underworld. Star Wars 1313 even had creator George Lucas's involvement, tweaking the story and offering the developers additional Star Wars content to use within the game.
That's
the game's
cool.
debut trailer was an unprecedented hit with fans, featuring fast-paced cover-based shooting and Uncharted-style climbing, along with a cinematic presentation that rivaled the films. So, naturally, Disney killed it, and then later the entire franchise.
Damn, that sucks. You sure you're happy with the Jedi series though? Bro, I gotta continue playing that shit. My backlog just fucked.
Earthblade. One of the most recent cancellations on our list,
Earthblade
was developer Extremely OK Games' follow-up to their smash indie hit Celeste. While not much is known about the actual game besides its gorgeous fantasy art style and likely pitch-perfect platforming, the game would have had an open-world Metroidvania-style exploration gameplay and likely a deeply personal and emotional story similar to Celeste's, involving exploring the remnants of a ruined Earth reclaimed by nature. Despite great fan anticipation, numerous behind-the-scenes issues eventually led to the developer announcing Earthblade's cancellation in January 2025.
Damn.
While promising to continue developing games, just one on a smaller scale than Earthblade. Dead Space 4.
Does anyone read us out here?
Look at his face. What the fuck is that?
EA strikes again, this time canceling the continuation of the Dead Space series after their heavy-handed involvement forcing a more action-style approach to the game's combat, in addition to co-op and the numerous microtransactions, completely pivoted the direction of the third entry and turned off a lot of fans of the series. However, the devs still had plans for a fourth game to complete Isaac's journey, with the idea for the fourth entry focusing on survival-style gameplay as players scavenge to survive the Brethren Moons and the infestation of necromorphs. The gameplay would have been more open-ended, allowing players to continue the story at their own discretion, rather than the linear nature of the previous titles. But EA, unable to take any accountability for Dead Space 3's failure, cancelled plans for a fourth game. Not only that, but they even canceled the planned Dead Space 2 remake after the original failed to meet expectations.
I quit trying to make sense of it all back on the Ishimura. Come on, this can't be real. Wait, what are we supposed to do now?
Sleeping Dogs 2.
So what they get you
Damn.
on? Nothing that'll stick. Ha! Well, don't let them.
You said the creator's trying his best to pitch
Square Enix
to EA
joins
about
our
Dead
list
Space
again,
4
this
still
time
going
killing what
now.
could have been the only true challenger to GTA. Open world sandbox games were a dime a dozen after the success of the GTA trilogy, but one game managed to step out of that series' shadow with its unique setting, engaging characters, parkour-inspired traversal, and brutal, impactful combat with immensely satisfying environmental finishers. Naturally, despite strong reviews and player reception, and selling 1 million copies
The
at
racing
launch,
looks cool.
Square Enix said the game failed to meet expectations.
Bro, look how much people's
as
on the
usual,
floor.
likely expecting GTA
Should look like
numbers.
Kingdom Hearts.
The developer United Front Games was shut
The
down
1000
almost immediately,
Heartless.
but would later detail their plans for an ambitious sequel that would have featured a new city, possible co-op, and even elements that would have tracked the crimes you committed, making some areas of the game more difficult due to police presence. Seems like nothing is ever good enough for Square Enix anymore.
Sorry to hear that, Sifu. So was I. This collection meant a lot to me. But sometimes you just have to let things go.
Days Gone 2.
Okay. Yeah, shut up! Shut up! This ain't no eulogy.
Days Gone got a raw deal from Sony, and there's very little to argue that fact. Despite porting and updating the game numerous times and 9 million copies sold, Sony refused to allow developer Bend Studio to begin work on a sequel. Days Gone released to mid-reviews due to several bugs and glitches, but with all those kinks ironed out, the community fell in love with this open-world zombie apocalypse filled with motorcycles and roaming hordes of zombies. For whatever reason, Bend Studio wasn't given the green light to begin the sequel, despite
look how much
having
you
numerous
burning
ideas
them.
on how to evolve the
That looks
series, including
crazy.
co-op, deeper motorcycle and character customization, new areas, and even base building and survival
As a PS5
mechanics.
version?
Unfortunately, it seems unlikely these ideas or the franchise will ever see a proper sequel.
Oh,
as both
hell
Bend
no.
Studio and Sony have moved on from the property.
I thought you weren't going to give a speech.
Yeah, I screwed up. How the hell was it?
You know, it was alright for an outlaw biker.
Titanfall 3.
I'm a long way.
Damn, Titanfall 3 was killed for Apex Legends.
I hope I can live up to the honor.
Oh look, it's EA again. What a surprise. EA purposely sabotaged the Titanfall series, launching the highly acclaimed sequel smack in the middle of their own Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, splitting the potential player base. Despite all these handicaps, Titanfall 2 managed to develop an extremely loyal fan base, and the critical reception of the game made a third entry seem inevitable. Plans for a third Titanfall game look to give players everything they could have wanted, incorporating elements from multiplayer such as more organic boss battles, allowing players to confront these enemies either in Titans or
Oh
on
shit,
foot,
is that
and
the
a less linear
Peacekeeper?
story.
No, not the
Instead, focusing
Peacekeeper.
on
What's that
branching
shotgun
paths
called?
that, depending on their choices, would have
I'm
led to one
tweaking.
of 4 different endings. There were even already plans for additional
That's that one
content
gun.
via DLC. Sadly, Titanfall 3 was scrapped only 10 months
Not the
into
Mozambique, the
development,
other
and many of
shotgun
the ideas were
in
pivoted
Apex
to
that you get
Apex
from the
Legends.
care package. But then it became a common weapon in the later seasons.
What are you doing?
Trust me.
Gotham by Gaslight. The unexpected success of Rocksteady's Batman Arkham
I forgot.
Asylum made them the more or less de facto developer of Batman video games, but there was almost one more before the Arkhamverse dominated everything Batman.
Titanfall was
Based on
fire.
the one-shot comic series of the same name, Gotham by Gaslight would have seen a Victorian Batman contending with Jack the Ripper, terrorizing the streets of London, while also crossing paths with 19th century versions of other familiar characters like the Joker and Commissioner Gordon. Although canceled early in development, some test footage does exist, and the Victorian architecture could have given players a world unlike anything else in Batman's history to explore, as well as unique gameplay features such as a dedicated slow-mo button and steampunk-style gadgets for Batman to use. Sadly, a myriad of rights issues gave Gotham by Gaslight no fighting chance. Project Ragtag. Another entry, another stupid EA decision. After parting ways with Naughty Dog,
Everything's gonna
Amy
be
Hennig
EA.
joined Visceral Games to work on a single-player game in the Star Wars universe. The game would have followed a group of would-be scoundrels attempting to pull off the biggest heist the galaxy had ever seen, along with a little classic familiar drama sprinkled in for good measure. Sticking to her strengths, Amy Hennig pitched the game as a cinematic third-person linear action-adventure shooter in the same vein as the Uncharted series. However, the writing was on the wall early
didn't we
on
just
in
see this one?
development as EA continuously moved developers and resources to Battlefront, their current moneymaker, alongside issues with the restrictive Frostbite engine being
Nah, this is a
ill-equipped
different
to
one?
handle a third-person
Yo, Star
style
Wars gets
game.
a lot of
While some
pitches.
claim the project was too ambitious in scope, it's more likely EA wanted to prioritize live service games they could over-monetize. Silent Hills.
Come on, man. Fuck off with that damn hallway, bro. I'm tired of that hallway, bro.
Silent Hills will forever be one of the most frustrating game cancellations in the entire industry.
Come on, son.
Initially revealed in August 2014
Get that shit on my face,
as
bro.
PT, or a playable teaser, fans soon discovered it was secretly a demo for the in-development Silent Hills game starring Norman Reedus and directed by Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro. Fans immediately went crazy, poring over the demo for hidden secrets and messages, while behind the scenes, Konami and Kojima were in turmoil. In April 2015, Konami split with the Metal Gear Solid creator and promptly canceled all his future projects, including Silent Hills, despite the game having already been in development for almost 3 years, even going so far as to delete PT from the marketplace, leaving the only way to even play the demo was to keep it installed on your hard drive at all times.
Damn.
The move was rightfully seen as extremely petty on Konami's part.
Damn, does she rip you open?
Finally tracked me down, huh? Somebody shoot this motherfucker.
And run. The original Prey for the then brand new Xbox 360 was a standout title with its unique approach to combat, world design, and especially the trippy portal bending mechanics. A sequel was announced and quietly went dark for years before finally resurfacing in 2011 with an impressive debut trailer showcasing an entirely new approach to the series. Instead of reprising their role as Tommy from the original, players would instead become an amnesiac.
The PT died for Silent Hill, F low-key fire exchange.
After his flight crashed into the
Yo,
sphere
Silent Hill
in the
F,
game.
bro.
This new approach to gameplay, featuring a myriad of gadgets, new traversal
said Kojima
options,
glaze
and a
is
Star
crazy?
Wars galaxy amount of alien
You already
species
know,
to
man.
interact with, Prey 2 solidified
Kojima
its place
needs
on
the
gamers'
glaze.
radar in a big way. Unfortunately, publisher Bethesda pushed unrealistic deadlines and milestones on the developer, eventually leading to both parting ways and Prey 2 being cancelled entirely.
Oh, what is that?
Scalebound.
Hardly seems like a fair fight. Just one of you against all of us.
Scalebound, I remember this.
Let's go, big guy!
It's no secret that Xbox has been hurting for exclusives since the Xbox One generation. So why then would they cancel the one project that had even the slightest potential to become a system seller?
Oh my god,
Scalebound from Platinum
it's
Games was
everywhere.
by far the
I can't
Xbox
clean
One's
this
most
all up.
anticipated title, with each new trailer only furthering the hype for
You can't
fans.
clean what
The
all
idea
up?
of
What do you
teaming up
mean?
with your own fully customizable
Snack? Oh,
dragon
come on, clean
companion
yourself
and
up,
battling
man.
enemies with your dragon at your side, with your
Thank
own
you.
dragon-like powers
Thank you,
and dynamic
Snack.
swordplay, or taking to the skies on the back of your
Thank
dragon,
you, man.
checked off
That
so
shit
many
nasty.
boxes of every fantasy fan's ultimate RPG that Scalebound seemed like a surefire hit. The brilliant character designs, especially the dragons, and vibrantly expansive world popped off the screen, but sadly, balancing all the elements, including online multiplayer, proved to be too ambitious for the team, and Microsoft ultimately shelved Scalebound for good.
Damn.
Prince of Persia: Redemption.
Uh-oh.
Long before the recent resurgence in the license, the Prince of Persia was stuck in limbo outside of some DLC cosmetic packs in other Ubisoft properties.
DMC
That
style
didn't have to be
combat.
The case, however, had a pitch in the mid-2000s been picked up by Ubisoft. Footage of Prince of Persia Redemption was leaked in 2012 and featured a wildly ambitious new direction for the prince. The pre-rendered concept footage showcased the prince's trademark acrobatic abilities and
oh my god, he got
alongside
poked.
new powers such as a dash and an arm that would allow him to grip onto surfaces. Filled with cinematic camera angles and new multi-enemy combat, the new approach to Prince of Persia was clearly influenced by Ubisoft's other parkour series, Assassin's Creed, and the epic scale of the Uncharted games. As longtime Prince of Persia fans, it's hard not to imagine.
Wait, so hold up. Prince of Persia, his power, he could get poked up like that, die, and then go back a couple seconds? That means that he's unbeatable. He would just always dodge you. You said, nah, I could beat Yo, the way I saw Caprisa go like this, I could beat him. He said I could take his ass. I'll win. Man.
Instead of our beloved prince being trapped in
Richard, my brother, where's your quarter zip? Yo, I had a quarter zip. The other day I had a quarter zip. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. The other day I had a quarter zip. Now WatchMojo got it. Wow. The 30 best GameCube games. I can't even, bro. The 30 best GameCube games. You said 5 more years? I think you like this short animated series called The Alien Stage. Animated series. The hardest item to get in video games. Compilation. An hour and 40 minutes, you're fucking smoking. The 20 hardest items to get in Final Fantasy. I know Final Fantasy got some difficult items. 20 things that only adults notice in Nintendo games. Whoa. Whoa. Watch Wisteria Wand. Coco. Hold on. This feeling, it's been so long. So long what, Rolla? I'm so excited right now.
Games have
Oh, Steve with the schmeat.
a reputation for being family friendly, but that doesn't mean some more mature elements don't slip through the cracks.
Yo, you don't know about the Steve schmeat. Steve with the schmeat. You said chat owes me a foot job? Hey, yo. Hey, yo, buddy.
Welcome to Mojo Plays, and today we're looking at things only adults will notice in Nintendo games.
What would they notice? Only adults. Yo, Zesty Frog, bro. I love this motherfucker. He was in Jolly Roger's Bay. Goo.
But before we dive in, we publish
Yes,
new
we have
content all
all.
week long. So be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Swordsman's Request. The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask.
Will you try it?
There are all kinds of masks that bring about different effects in Majora's Mask. Outside of their normal uses, wearing them while talking to various NPCs will bring out different dialogue you wouldn't normally get. The Great Fairy Mask is used to find lost fairies inside of dungeons. But if you wear it while talking to the swordsman inside his Clocktown dojo, he'll make his sensual thoughts known. He'll claim its beauty is too distracting for him to teach you and request you leave it at home. Or, emphasis on the ellipsis, you can leave it with him.
Or I could keep it for you. Hey, yo.
Something tells us whatever he plans to do would require the mask be thoroughly washed.
Yup.
The PP Bridge. Super Mario 3D World. Mario is
Dick
no stranger
Bridge!
to hidden adult jokes or references, and this one stares
There's
you
a
straight
Dick
in the
Bridge!
face. Bowser's Castle in World 4 is, for the most part, what you expect. Lots of fire, lava, and traps. However, at the very beginning, there are two giant P buttons next to each other that players must press down to lower a bridge, leading to a star on a platform in the lava. The switches, the bridge, and the platform unmistakably look like male genitalia. While younger players might not notice it, more mature players started calling it the PP Bridge. Or does that make us immature? The unstoppable march of time. Pokemon Sun and Moon. And now for something completely different. At a certain point in Sun and Moon, players meet Kagatora, an older man who used to be a Pokemon trainer. Life got in the way of his dreams, and his regrets over never being able to defeat a group of Evolution trainers leads to you tracking them down. Every single one of them deals with the theme of time, the passage of it, lost dreams, whether you hold regrets or accept your lot in life. One of them is even dead. When you're a kid, or even a young adult, these things likely go over your head. But revisiting them as you grow older, it hits a lot harder. What will we regret when we reach Kagatora's age? Are we all just hurling towards the grave, bound to die, thinking of what could have been? Easing your pain. Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Alright, enough of the existential dread. Let's get back to the sex
Link got his dick sucked?
jokes. Throughout Zelda 2, Link can find towns that serve as safe havens from the army of monsters trying to slay him. In most of them, he'll find a healing lady, a woman in a red dress. If you're low on health, she'll take you inside her home and refill it. And notably, it doesn't show her process. This, along with her sometimes saying, "stop by for a while," and being as attractive as an NES NPC can be, led to a lot of older fans joking that she's reviving Link's stamina in a sexual manner. It probably wasn't Nintendo's intention, but it's still a running joke among fans.
Hey, man.
Zero Suit Snake. Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
Mei Ling, Samus took her clothes off.
That's just her in the Zero Suit, Snake.
If players perform one of Snake's
Wait,
taunts
how
on
old
his
is Link
stage,
and how
Shadow
old is
Moses
the woman?
Island, they'll initiate a codec conversation with one of his team members from the Metal Gear Solid series. These are fun
Snake
little
was horny,
Easter
can't
eggs where
blame him.
Snake is informed
It's Zero
about
Suit
whichever
Samus.
character he's fighting. But the
And
one
she
for
looked good.
Zero Suit
Yo,
Samus
Zero Suit Samus
is,
looked good as
well,
hell in Smash
risque.
4, bro.
Snake is surprised that Samus took all of her clothes off. With her enhanced agility, he thinks of removing his own heavy gear so he can catch her. His ally, Mei Ling, advises against it since Samus's enhanced DNA would make it hard for any normal human to keep up. To which Snake replies, ... her loss.
I don't think a normal human could ever keep up. Just look at her.
Her loss.
The connotations of physical and sexual violence don't exactly paint him in a good light. Coco's origin. Animal Crossing
R.I.P.
series.
Coco.
There's obviously a ton of villagers in the Animal Crossing series. By far the creepiest is Coco. But you'd only know just how creepy if you looked into it. She's modeled after gyroids, themselves based on Haniwa statues, which were first crafted during Japan's Yayoi period.
Yayoi.
These ritualistic figurines were buried with the dead, and some have theorized that they were meant to house the spirits of the deceased, which has led players to theorize that Coco is the very same. She too appears made of stone
Oh my
and
God.
has empty eyes. Is she a spirit bringing life to an
That's
empty
a creepy
shell?
ass.
Probably not.
What happened
but it's
in
still
there?
an unsettling thought that most kids
There's so much
wouldn't
dead
think about.
creatures.
The Rude Inkling, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mario Kart 8 added several guest characters from other Nintendo IPs, including the Inklings from Splatoon.
The Inklings are rude?
Originally, when the Inkling girl would pass or hit other racers, she would raise her fist and grab her bicep.
I like that. That's why I like using them.
Nintendo likely meant for this to be a simple taunt, but to certain people, this is a pretty rude gesture that essentially means up yours. It's obviously something most kids wouldn't pick up on.
They took it out?
Once Nintendo found out about it, they altered the gesture via a patch, with the Inkling simply raising her fist, but not grabbing her bicep. Candy Kong's services. Donkey Kong.
Oh, Nintendo, y'all bunch of pussies, bro. Are you kidding me? This was too much? Come on, bro. Nintendo should have put a patch out there, and then when she passed someone, she turns around and she hit him with two of these. Imagine an Inkling hitting a fucking... Dude, like... But it's just like, come on, bro. Like, this gesture... Yeah, come on, bro.
64. It would be hard for anyone...
I can't lie. When I was young... and I saw Candy Kong for the first time, I wanted to fuck the absolute shit out of her.
Not to notice how sensual Candy Kong is in Donkey Kong 64.
I'ma keep it a stack.
No matter their age.
I'ma keep it
her
a
curvy
stack.
Figure and the smooth jazz that
I
plays
wanted
around her
to
are
fuck.
hard to ignore. But there are certain elements that would go missed by younger players, mostly her suggestive dialogue.
I remember her dialogue said, "Stand a little closer, donkey, and I'll show you how to use your instrument." I'm like, you about to show me how to use what?
Gives each Kong a musical instrument which can be used for different effects across levels. But when you visit her, she tells you to relax so she can make you feel good, and tells you to stand closer so she can show you how to use your instrument. Flirty is one thing, but this is some of the most sexually charged writing in any Nintendo game.
You have all the latest stuff from me. Come see me later, okay?
Toadstool's mysterious item. Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. One of the most well-known dirty jokes in the Mushroom Kingdom can be found in Super Mario RPG. At the castle, Mario can search around Peach's room. When clicking between the blue chair and the fireplace, a dialogue box will pop up stating, "Found toadstools, ? Though it never shows what the item is, it's insinuated to be something sexual. The question marks and the fact that either Grandma or Peach herself will scold you for snooping around make that pretty clear. Hey, a lady has needs.
But behind the chair?
Doc,
you could have had that under your bed. Right, like if it's a dildo or some wild shit, you could have had it under your bed. Why you got it all the way off to the side and behind the chair? She do it with an audience. Hey, yo.
Dr. Shrunk's toxic relationship. Animal Crossing City Folk. Introduced in Wild World, Dr. Shrunk is a stand-up comedian whose shows can teach players different emotes. In City Folk, however, one of his bits makes it clear that he's in a toxic relationship.
Aww.
He talks about his wife, claiming she used to be the sweetest girl, before going into how much she criticizes him and makes him feel really small.
Aww.
But he then claims that's what he loves about her.
Really knows how to make me feel small. But I gotta admit, that's what I love
Sorry
about my
to tell
wife.
you this, Doc, but I don't think your wife has your best interests at
Yeah,
heart.
true.
As a kid, you'd probably just laugh this off. As an adult, it's something some of us can sadly relate to. A suggestive design. Kirby's Dream Land 2. Kirby is one of Nintendo's most squeaky clean franchises, but even it isn't exempt from an adult joke. At a certain point in Stage 5 of the Red Canyon world, players will come across a vertical section they descend, featuring star blocks as platforms. The layout of these blocks, although simple, is extremely suggestive. A smiley face on top, breasts followed after, and a crotch at the bottom. It's only really noticeable if you look at it from afar, but it's clearly meant to be a crude representation of a nude woman. We're unsure why someone at
I'm
Nintendo
like, I didn't
or
know.
HAL Laboratory put this in. Marina the Creep, Splatoon 2. Splatoon has quickly become one of...
Son, you already know, son. Shout out to Pearl, Marina,
Nintendo's oddest franchises, and for multiple reasons. One of the biggest is Marina from Splatoon 2. A lot of her dialogue could be qualified as questionable, but the most blatantly sexual comes while she's on the topic of invisibility. She states, quote, "With invisibility, you could spy on people while they're ... inking their splat zone."
Nah, come on, Marina, you want to spy on me?
Joke, and she's clearly talking about spying on people while they're issuing a little self-love. That's pretty explicit by Nintendo standards, and we're honestly surprised the line made it in. Steve's Meat.
Damn, look at that schmeat.
The inclusion of Steve in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate brought a lot of surprises, including one of his victory screens. During one of them, he'd chow down on a stick of meat before posing with it in his hand. But the positioning and pose Nintendo chose sent the wrong message.
Meat!
Yeah, holding a long, cylindrical piece of meat by his crotch, you can understand how a lot of people reacted, or at least how adults reacted. Of course, in the era of being able to patch anything out, it wasn't long before Nintendo altered it. Tingle's Reward. Freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land. Although it didn't release in North America, Japanese and European players got to experience a very weird Zelda spin-off on the DS starring Tingle.
Tingle.
At a certain point, you rescue a companion
They said they
character,
circumcised
a
my boy?
suggestively animated woman named Pinkle. Once you
Who
do,
the
she
hell?
gives Tingle a reward. Tingle's balloon blows up, hiding what the reward is, but since hearts fill the screen and Tingle starts moaning uncontrollably, you can guess it's something sexual in nature.
Damn.
Maybe the minds of more innocent players would think a kiss or two, but with how Tingle sounds, it has to be something
Hell
more
yeah,
than that.
man. He was, like he was hitting some vocals.
Vacation Juice. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. As is the case with most mobile spin-offs, Nintendo introduced different items across
Man,
the
Pocket
lifespan
Camp.
of Animal
I spent
Crossing
some
Pocket
money on
Camp.
this game, bro.
In 2019, it added Vacation Juice, which every adult will know as code for an alcoholic drink. Even better, fans quickly began sharing videos of Isabelle drinking Vacation Juice and drunkenly dancing around. Ever since her debut, she's been characterized as a workaholic, and it's perfectly natural for her to want to let off some steam by getting a little tipsy. Still, not something the younger player base would notice.
Let her enjoy her vacation juice.
A different kind of business. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. It's a running joke across the
Ooh.
Zelda series that everyone wants a piece
I
of
hate
Link.
the horse
And according
race.
to one NPC in Ocarina of Time, Link isn't taking
Evil
full advantage
Luigi.
of his natural beauty. When you meet the Poe Collector, he states, quote, "If I looked as good as you, I could run a different kind of business." Followed by some creepy laughter.
Yo.
Younger players probably wouldn't think anything of it, but older ones would notice he's suggesting Link should become a prostitute. That's not to mention the uncomfortable age gap between the two. An older man commenting on Link's looks, who's canonically around 17 here, is pretty creepy. Jolly Roger's Tavern, Banjo-Tooie. Although less of a Nintendo game than everything else on this list, Banjo-Tooie was still
Look how
published
creepy
by
these
Nintendo
mines
at release.
are.
Both it
They got
and
teeth.
its predecessor have plenty of adult jokes and references that younger players might not pick up on. But one of the most interesting is the tavern in the Jolly Roger's Lagoon level. This is clearly meant to be a gay bar. It's known for its grab a sailor nights and for serving tankards of Seaman's brew. You can also see on its menu that it serves salty dumplings, a toad in the hole, and something called the Seaman's Surprise. As is, the tavern's references and the flamboyance of its proprietor completely went over our heads. Raising the age rating. Paper Mario Color Splash. In Color Splash, Mario is eventually captured and thrown into prison by a Sniffet, prompting him to break out and try to escape. But when he's first thrown in jail, the Sniffet breaks the fourth wall by stating there's not much more he could do to Mario without raising the game's age rating. Younger players might just assume this means violence. But as adults, perhaps having heard about what horrible things can happen in prison, your imagination goes to darker places. Does the Sniffet mean murder? Torture? We'll never know. But given all these things can happen in real-world prisons, it's an unsettling thought.
There's no way out of the cell.
The Lonely Arrow Girl. The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. Going back to every girl wanting to jump Link's bones, we have Rolla in Breath of the Wild. She runs a store in Kakariko Village where Link can buy some arrows. But she also gives him a side quest that involves lighting torches near the village's goddess statue using fire arrows. She's clearly very attracted to men who can handle a bow, but it goes one step beyond that.
So have you figured out? Okay. Alright.
Inside Impa's house, you'll find the Journal of Various Worries, where townsfolk have written down their troubles. One, from Rolla, signed as the Lonely Arrow Girl, speaks of watching Link, hoping he comes by to knock an arrow for her because it's been way too long.
What?
Kids might not pick up on it, but we know that
I hope he comes by and knocks an arrow for me. It's been way too long. Oh my god. Yo, way with the capital W-A-A-A. Why you added an extra 2 A's? Bro, she want that. Yo, she wanted the whole combo, bruh.
Too long. Kids might not pick up on it, but we know that knocking an arrow for a lonely woman clearly isn't talking about archery.
It really was something to see, in fact. Whoa.
The Vibe Scepter.
What? She wrote that in the shit and she said if only my husband hadn't become obsessed with cuckoos and had kept up with his archery skills. So she fantasizing about me knocking an arrow? So her husband giving her nothing?
The Vibe Scepter. Super Princess.
Wait, why is she talking about cuckoos? Her husband's a cuck. Cuckoos. Nah, I'm looking too into it. Hold on, man. I'm looking too into it.
That's Peach. In this spin-off, Bowser steals an item called the Vibe Scepter, which can alter anyone's emotions. Although it has a somewhat phallic design and Vibe Scepter sounds like a magical name for a vibrator, our minds are probably just in the gutter. But then comes the ending.
How did you feel about the last adventure?
After Peach defeats Bowser, the Vibe Scepter becomes lost. The ending text goes on to address you, the player, and notes that your father has been angry lately while your mother has been happily laughing a lot, suggesting the Vibe Scepter is in your house. Nintendo was obviously trying to be playful, but to us, it sounds like your dad is mad he isn't getting any, while your mom found pleasure with the Vibe Scepter.
She's using a vibrator.
Do you know of any other adult themes or jokes?
She's using a vibrator. She's using a vibrator. I can't believe she's using a vibrator. Man, she flicking the bean, bruh. I can't believe there's been 2 solo Peach games. You said I see hoodwinked? Hell no, that girl's face, look at it. That's bedroom eyes. Hoodwinked? She giving bedroom eyes, bro. Get out of here, bro. I see Midna. I'm surprised Earthbound wasn't on the list. Damn, bro. He said, please stop buying Nintendo games. And damn, 108K views, but the video's an hour long? Nah, there's no way. He said Hoodwink 2? Damn. He said Extreme Hide and Seek Tag?
Of the Natiba invasion.
Shit. Is it 20 most stressful moments in Zelda games? GoldenEye. This thing got mad content. 25 things you didn't know about the PS2. Cap. I know everything about the PS2. I know that it's strong. I know that it's slim. Bro, this is a video making machine. Look how many videos they come out with so frequently. Holy shit. Man, at least it's not AI slop. Joshy Washy, don't say that.
Welcome to Mojo Plays, and today we're taking a look at 10 games where playing on easy mode is actually ruining the entire video game for you.
Yes.
Nothing personal, of course. Africa's just getting a bit too peaceful.
Before we begin, we publish new videos all
God.
week long, so be sure to subscribe to Mojo Plays.
Guess we binging WatchMojo. Hey, bruh.
Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening. We can understand why somebody wouldn't want to obliterate themselves with DMC3's higher difficulties. This truly is a challenging game with its complex combos and tight input windows for said combos.
It is,
but learning
bro.
the game is what makes it so much fun. Bump it down to easy, and DMC3 becomes a brain-dead action game where you just mash a button and you learn nothing.
True. That's true.
I hope you all have enough to cover all this.
You'll perform the most powerful combos by pressing a single button while laying waste to enemies that are already nerfed to hell with comically low health. Yeah, the impatient gamer might want to stay away from DMC if they don't want to stoop to easy mode.
Oh, I hated fighting those things.
Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Bro, once I learned how to parry in this game got so fun, bro.
Much like DMC3, part of the fun with Metal Gear Rising is learning the game, learning the enemies, and looking like a total badass at overcoming the hurdles. Is it going to be a cakewalk? No, but once you grasp the mechanics, it is one of the most fun games you could ever play.
Yo, it's so fun, dude. Yo, cutting them up to ribbons was so dope.
If you're just wanting a power fantasy, then sure, go ahead and play on easy. However, you're likely gonna get bored super quickly. Rising's easy mode makes parrying so forgiving that fights will seem completely unfair and bosses will become an utter joke. At that point, you're not playing Metal Gear Rising, You're just playing a basic hack and slash with nothing special going on.
Rules of nature!
Vampire.
Oh my gosh.
Vampire is an interesting case because it has a really unique XP system that ties in with the whole vampire theme. At the start of the game, you're given minimal abilities, mostly consisting of basic attacks and defensive maneuvers.
You said this game I love, you like
might have,
vampire?
A vampire power here and there. But if you choose to absorb the blood of certain characters, you are given more XP, which can unlock more powerful abilities early on. However, the number of people you prey upon will affect the ending you get, thus forcing the player to make moral choices. Do you deal with tough fights for the good of humanity, or slaughter dozens to become unstoppable? Well, you won't have to choose when playing on easy, as combat becomes so one-sided that you won't have to ever worry about additional powers to exploit. At least it makes getting the good ending less of a headache, we suppose.
Oh my gosh. You know how scary that is if this guy was flying?
Wonder.
Ooh, man, I wanted to play this game so bad.
In the case of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, the existence of an easy mode does not necessarily ruin the game. No matter what, this is one of the most fun Mario games you could ever play. The thing is that the way easy mode is incorporated into the game is what can ruin the experience for some people.
Yoshi sounds so cute, bro.
Basically, if you play as Nabbit or any of the different colored Yoshis, you remove some of the challenge from the game. You will only suffer knockback and lose a life from falling into pits.
Wait,
yes,
what?
This might be good for the younger players, but as a wise...
I didn't know this. So Yoshi and Nabbit is easy mode?
This man once said, get good. Also, let me play as Yoshis and retain the difficulty, please.
Yes!
Like, come on.
Oh, that's ass. I thought the Yoshis were like a free character you could choose. I didn't think it was
Persona 5.
Go down.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Nah, bro. You gotta get it right. It's Royal. Persona 5 Royal if you put it on easy difficulty. Bro, Persona 5 Royal, if you put that shit on normal difficulty, it's a fucking cakewalk. Normal difficulty? Cakewalk.
The beauty behind games like Persona is coming up with the perfect stock. Load up on different types of Personas, create powerful builds, eventually suffer from oppressive bosses like Okumura. It's a ton of fun.
It's almost scary how good I am. It's almost scary how good I am.
But
bro,
when you
the
choose
sauce.
to put on
This game is
difficulty,
saucy, bro.
What are you doing, man?
Look at those menus.
How do you expect to learn the game and improve yourself when you're steamrolling over every group of enemies you come across? You can even do that on normal difficulty. We can kind of get playing on safe if you're just there for the visual novel aspects, but even then, why not just play visual novels then, instead of ignoring a whole half of a 100-hour game?
Damn it. I don't have much health left. Nice job, Panther. Great, huh? We took them all out.
Twisted Metal 2.
What? Games like Twisted Metal, I feel like people want this game to get revived, but I feel like it will not do well if this game revives. Didn't they do a revival of this game? I feel like games like this only survived back in the day because you had like your friends to actually play with, but trying to revive games like this makes no sense.
Compared to the rest of the list where easy modes destroy the fundamentals of various games, Twisted Metal 2 handles its low difficulty rather differently and shames you for using it. At first, your campaign will start normally with Hollywood, followed by Moscow, Paris, and Amazonia.
Damn.
But once you've defeated the mid-boss, Minion, you'll be greeted with a very special message that reads, quote, "Stop. No losers allowed beyond this point. You must switch to medium or hard to continue, end quote.
Really?
You will then be booted back to the main menu.
No way.
All of what little effort you exerted has now gone to waste. Perhaps this message ruined the game for some, but hey, Twisted Metal has never been a super easy series to play. So,
that's crazy.
Turn the key or get out of the car, bub.
Just blowing each other up.
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
This game looks so nice, bro.
Much like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, we can understand why, say, a kid might want to play on a low difficulty for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. This is an adventure game starring furry space creatures. But for the older player, the easy settings are actually robbing you of what makes Rift Apart so much fun.
Bro, I think I played this shit on the hardest difficulty. This shit was hard, bro.
Ratchet and Clank games have.
They were beaming me.
His defenses are weakening.
By making fights a breeze, you're really missing out on what made this
said it was
series
easy,
legendary
Dylan.
to begin with. It's like wanting a 100-piece puzzle to come in just 4 pieces instead.
You think a crushing defeat is all it takes to stop me? I mean, yes?
Silent Hill F.
Oh my god, we're already talking about Silent Hill F? Oh, what is that?
We'll take a break from the whole you should play this way shtick for just a second.
Oh
because Silent
my
Hill F
God.
really does have a difficulty problem.
We getting
Okay?
spoiled?
When
Alright,
starting-
alright. We getting spoiled. We getting spoiled. Somebody in the chat said we getting spoiled. Alright, I'm out. Just for you, I'm out. Yo, the Toad death scream is my favorite.
Art series. There is an unspoken rule among most Mario Kart fans when it comes to difficulty. Go to any house party or social gathering where there is Mario Kart, and you will find that nobody is playing on anything below 150cc.
Yup.
Rarely will you ever find people playing at even 100cc.
Yup.
So why does nobody play 50cc? Well,
Because
it's because it's slow as
Bro,
hell.
it's excruciatingly slow, bro. Like, bad.
At that speed, races take forever, drifts aren't as satisfying to pull off, and you can easily bully the AI to where it's no longer fun. You need to embrace the chaos. That's the beauty of Mario Kart.
Yup, you need to play on 200cc. Oh, Kamek is too spooky.
And lastly, the Doom series.
Yo, boom.
Look, everybody has their limits when it comes to Doom, alright? Whether you're playing the 1993 classic or the new games directed by Hugo Martin, most fans are in agreement that the games are best played on ultra-violence, maybe hurt me plenty in some games.
Ultra violence? What difficulty level is that?
We're forgiving to those who may be new to FPS and boomer shooter games and choose, hey, not too rough difficulty, but to choose I'm too young to die, brother, you're not playing Doom anymore. You're playing a shooting gallery, and that's all it is. It's not fun.
Glory
You're
kills
just
the
playing
hardest?
The world's dullest shooting gallery. Bump up the difficulty, please.
Hell no, bro. This game is hard.
Is
That
there a
game
game
is
you feel others are
hard,
robbing-
bro. On my soul, it's hard. Shit, chat. I ain't gonna lie. Time for us to end stream. Nice, calm 12-hour stream today. Damn, calm 12 hours. You said end what? Bro, we played so much Silk Song today.